What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in today's video we're taking a look at all the hand cannons that you should be going after ahead of Beyond Light. Hand cannons are under the magnifying glass with sun setting, and there's only a handful that you can actually take into the DLC and throughout year 4. So in this video we're going to take a look at each one and the sort of roles that you should be going after. Now if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new here, I want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now before we jump into the meat of today's video, I want to first invite you all to the Jarv Community Hub. This is a buzzing and growing Discord available to absolutely every like-minded Guardian. We've got 2,700 Guardians in fact waiting to help you out. So no matter what platform you're on, there's an LFG available for you to help you get those seals and titles done before the end of the season. So if you're not in there already, be sure to jump in. You can find the link to this server in the video description below. Now with all the channel announcements out of the way, let's jump back into today's video. And the main focus of today's video is to take a look at the legendary weapons that we can take into Season 12 and throughout Year 4. What we don't know is the sort of weapons that we're going to be getting when the DLC launches. So what we need to do now is make sure we have the best weapons available with the best roles possible going into Beyond Light. Now as a result of sunsetting, there are merely a handful of hand cannons that we can take into Season 12 and beyond. These are things that we're going to be able to use in end game PvE activities, but also light level enabled crucible modes as well, things like Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris. Now the first weapon we're going to take a look at today is one of the most popular hand cannons currently in use at the moment, and this is the Dire Promise. Now the Dire Promise is a legendary kinetic hand cannon. It's a lightweight frame, so it has superb handling, and you also move faster when you have the weapon equipped. Now if you don't have a Dire Promise, they are a world drop, so you can get them from pretty much any activity that provides a legendary reward. The most common sources though that I've got my Dire Promises are from Lord Shaxx, Banshee and Master Rahul over in the tower. So whether you're handing in gunsmith materials or crucible tokens, they seem to offer great opportunities to get your hands on a Dire Promise. Now in terms of the roles that you want to be looking for on this particular hand cannon, high caliber rounds and ricochet rounds are the most popular options there, as these provide boosts to your range, and ricochet rounds also boost your stability by 10. If you're looking for a PvE role though, then things like Appended Mag can be a great option too, as these boost your magazine size by plus 20. Now in terms of PvE, Overflow and Swashbuckler is a fantastic role for this weapon, as it means you can get a magazine of up to 24 rounds, but also Swashbuckler is a fantastic option as the weapon gains increased damage from melee kills, and it stacks up to 5 times, and that is very powerful, especially on a 150 hand cannon, as it's fast firing and it can hit really hard when you have this active. Now if you're looking for a PvP role though, then Opening Shot and Snapshot Sights are options in the middle column, and in the final column, Rangefinder will be the preferred option here, as aiming this weapon increases its effective range and also improves its zoom magnification. Now in terms of the power cap, the Dire Promise has a power cap of 1310, which means this weapon will last up until Season 14 before it gets sunset, which means it will last you pretty much all the way through Year 4, all the way up to the penultimate season. Now the next hand cannon on our list here is the Ancient Gospel. Now this is a legendary energy hand cannon. This one's an adaptive frame, so it's a 140 RPM. This is well rounded, reliable and sturdy. Now if you don't have this one, you can obtain this through the Garden of Salvation raid, which provides a lot of energy weapons, so the drop rate for this is actually probably more common than the Dire Promise that we just discussed. Now in terms of roles for this weapon, if you're looking for PvE, then Rapid Hit is an available option here. This is where rapid precision hits temporarily increase the stability and also the reload speed. And in the final column, we have some fantastic choices. You have the choice of either Kill Clip, where reloading after a kill grants you increased damage, Swashbuckler, but also Dragonfly as well. Now Dragonfly is where precision kills create an elemental damage explosion, and when you pair that with Rapid Hit, that makes for a very powerful solar hand cannon indeed. Now whilst the Ancient Gospel isn't one you'll see too much in the Crucible, it actually has some very good perks for Crucible. It has things like Accurized Rounds, which will improve your range by plus 10. It also has the option of Slide Shot in the middle column, where this partially reloads the weapon's magazine, but also temporarily boosts its range and stability, and that is very powerful for Crucible. And in the final column, much like the Dire Promise, you also have the option of Rangefinder as well. Now there is another hand cannon that is very similar to this, and that is called the Nation of Beasts. Now this is a legendary energy hand cannon as well, however this one is arc. It is still an adaptive frame though, to 140 RPM. Now, unlike the Ancient Gospel, this has some slightly different perks available to it. Now, instead of rapid hit, you have the option of Outlaw, where precision kills greatly decrease reload time. And then for extra damage dealing perks for PvE, you have the options of Kill Clip and Rampage. Now, Rampage is where kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage and stack up to 3 times. Now, with that being said though, there is a curated role for this weapon, and this comes with Outlaw and Dragonfly. And as we said with the Ancient Gospel, this is where precision kills create an elemental damage explosion. Now, if you don't have a Nation of Beasts, you can only get this from the Last Wish raid, and the curated role itself is very rare indeed. So if you're not able to get this weapon, then the Ancient Gospel is a worthy alternative. But with that being said though, when we take a look at the specific stats on these 2 weapons alone, we can see that pretty much most of these stats across the board are higher for the Ancient Gospel. It is only really the reload speed, which is +1, where the Nation of Beasts comes out on top. And finally, as both of these weapons are raid weapons, they have a power cap of 1360. So these will last you up until season 15, all the way up to the beginning of year 5. So if you don't have them, be sure to try and get them, because they will last you pretty much the whole of next year. Now, the next hand cannon we're going to take a look at is the Jack Queen King 3. This is a legendary energy hand cannon as well. However, this one is a lightweight frame. So as before, you have superb handling with this one, but you also move faster when you have the weapon equipped. And as a result, this is a 150 RPM weapon as well. Now, a key thing to remember with this one is this gun is no longer available. So if you didn't grab one back in the Season of Dawn, unless you have one buried deep inside your vault, then this isn't a weapon, unfortunately, that you're going to be able to get your hands on. However, there is a fantastic set of perks here that will serve you really well in Beyond Light. Now, I hadn't used this weapon for a very long time, but a thing to bear in mind here is this has one of the highest handling stats and also aim assist stats across all the hand cannons we're covering in this video today. So it feels very forgiving when you're using it, as you'll see from the footage that's playing out. Now, if you did manage to snag one back in the Season of Dawn, then there's a couple of roles that you want to be looking for inside your vault. Naturally, high caliber rounds and ricochet rounds are very strong options on any hand cannon. If you're looking for a PvE role, then a pended mag is also a worthy alternative. Now, for PvE, you have some great choices here. You have things like Threat Detector, which increases your reload speed, stability, and handling when enemies are in close proximity. And we've seen this season with the Ikelos SMG exactly how beneficial that perk can be. Another option here, though, is Ambitious Assassin, where this overflows the weapon's magazine based on the number of rapid kills made beforehand. And then you compare that in the final column with things like Rampage, Swashbuckler, Dragonfly, and this one has a unique option of Surrounded, where the weapon gains increased damage when 3 or more enemies are in close proximity. That is exactly the same role that I have on my Ikelos SMG, and if you can get that on a hand cannon, for example, that will be immensely powerful and deal massive damage when you're surrounded by massive groups of adds. However, if you're looking for the PvP role in your vault, then Threat Detector and Snapshot Sights, which is also a possible role in the final column, is the options there. So be sure to check out your vault and see if you have one lying around gathering some dust. And as I said, this has a power cap of 1260, so this will last you to the end of Season 12 into Season 13. Now, the next hand cannon on the agenda is the Old Fashioned. This is a legendary kinetic hand cannon. This one is an adaptive frame, so it has a well-rounded grip, is reliable and sturdy, and as a result, it's a 140 rounds per minute hand cannon. Now, much like the Dire Promise, this one is a world drop too. So again, handing in tokens, gunsmith materials, or even legendary shards at Master Rahul is possibly your best option to get your hands on a very good roll. Now, the Old Fashioned has a power cap of 1260, so much like the Jack Queen King 3, this will last you up until the end of Season 12 and the beginning of Season 13 before it reaches the sunset ceiling. Now, in terms of the rolls though, it has some fantastic perks available to it. Now, unlike other hand cannons though, this doesn't have the option of ricochet rounds or even high caliber rounds, but things like Tactical Mag and Appended Mag, which are all very strong magazine options, especially for PvE. If you're looking for the Crucible roll though, in that column, in Accurized rounds is where that will be, as that provides a +10 to your range stat. Now, in the middle column, we have a mass amount of perks available to us. Things like Slide Shot, which we've already covered, Quick Draw, where the weapon can be drawn unbelievably fast, but also Feeding Frenzy, where each rapid kill with this weapon progressively increases the reload speed for a very short time. And that is very good for not just PvE, but also PvP. Now, in the final column, we have a few choices here. Kill Clip is a worthy option, where reloading after a kill grants you increased damage. And that is the role that I have alongside Feeding Frenzy. But also in the final column, and potentially for PvP alongside alongside kill clip itself, you have the option of snapshot sight, but also moving target, which increases your movement speed and improves your target acquisition when you're aiming down sights. So all in all, some fantastic perk options, arguably slightly better options than the Dire Promise, but this weapon very much lives in the shadow of that weapon as a result of being 140 RPM. But nevertheless, be sure to check your vault to see if you have a good one lying there gathering some dust. Now the next weapon on the agenda is the True Prophecy. This is a legendary kinetic hand cannon. This one is an aggressive frame, so it's high damage and high recoil. This is the first 110 RPM hand cannon on our list. And we learned recently via Bungie that there's going to be some changes coming to 110 RPM hand cannons in Beyond Light. So it's definitely going to be worth getting 1 or 2 good rolls ahead of the DLC. Now in terms of magazine options, you have very similar options to the old fashioned. Things like tactical mag and appended mags are great options here for a PvE role. Again, for PvP, accurized rounds is a choice there. Now in the middle column, uniquely, this weapon comes with overflow, where picking up special or heavy ammo reloads this weapon beyond its normal ammo capacity, and that can increase your magazine size and make that up to 24 rounds. A few other options in the middle column is Grave Robber, which is very good for PvE, where melee kills reload a portion of the weapon's magazine. However, if you're looking for PvP, then Rangefinder and Opening Shot find themselves in the middle column on this weapon. In the final column though, going back to PvE, Rampage is most definitely the preferred option here. And then for PvP, there's a choice of either timed payload, where projectiles attached to enemies explode after a short delay, or explosive payload, where projectiles create an area effect detonation on impact. So all in all, some very interesting options. Now the power cap on this weapon is 1310, so this will last you up until season 14 when the weapon will sunset. So if you don't have a good True Prophecy, it was reissued back in Season of the Worthy, so be sure to either check your vault or try and hold onto a good one ahead of next season. Now the final weapon on our list today is the Crimil's Dagger. This is a legendary kinetic hand cannon. It's also an aggressive frame, so high damage and high recoil once again. It's also 110 rounds per minute. As we said before, we're not too sure exactly what changes will come next season. However, it's well worth trying to get your hands on a good one of these, especially as Iron Banner returns before the end of this season. Now, if you're looking for a PvE role on this weapon, then you have the choices of appended mag and also flared magwell as available options here. And in the middle column, we have the choice of Outlaw, where precision kills greatly decrease your reload time. And in the final column, the only extra damage dealing perk here is Kill Clip, where reloading after a kill will increase the weapon's damage. If you're looking for PvP though, then you most definitely will be looking for Rangefinder in the middle column, and as we said earlier in the video, aiming this weapon increases its effective range and also its zoom magnification. And if you pair this with Opening Shot, which also improves your accuracy and range on the opening shot of attack, you have a very long range, hard hitting hand cannon indeed. Now this weapon was reissued this season, so this will have a power cap of 1360 and last you all the way up to season 15 at the end of year 4. So if you haven't got hands on a good one just yet, then Iron Banner returns next week for you to get your chance. So there we have it guys, 7 incredible hand cannons, all of which will last you at various points throughout year 4. If there's any roles or other weapons that you feel are worthy contenders and should be considered as potential contenders here, then be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Now if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a rating down below, that super helps me out here on the channel. And if you're new here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.